American Airlines and Alaska have some of the best airline mileage programs in the world. Redeeming their points can mean extremely valuable redemptions for high tier business class flights. Today, we're going to talk about how you can earn a ton of these miles via credit card sign up bonuses. My name is Sean. I'm here with my co host.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherwin. Today on the Credit Card BS podcast, all about the bonuses you can get with American and Alaska miles. As Sean said, these are incredibly valuable miles because American and Alaskan have some of the best oneworld partners and some of the best redemption rates. Sean, any examples that come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, American Airlines, I think particularly is the stronger program. So it's first class, 80,000 points anywhere in the US to Asia, one way. So like you could fly Japan Airlines, new first class if you find a redemption available, all the way from like JFK to Tokyo, right? 14 hours for 80,000 points. Another standout redemption is the Middle East to Asian business class, 40,000 miles one way, 50,000 in first class. There's not a ton of routes that do this, but there's a few really standout ones, such as like Tokyo to Doha, for example. Ridiculous deal, ridiculous value. So they can be super valuable miles.
Another thing I really like about American miles in particular is that they give you penalty-free cancellation for the most part. I think up until 24 hours of your flight. If you just want to cancel the award, you get the miles back. There's no penalty, there's no fees, which is really good if you're just trying to book something, lock in the award availability, but you're not like that 100% sure if you can go. So this is much more generous than, say, Air Canada's Aeroplan program. They charge you quite a large fee for changing or canceling. Now, even though American and Alaskan miles are awesome to redeem, they can be quite difficult to get. That's because no major bank has them as a direct transfer partner. I believe Bilt, you can transfer those points to Alaska. But if we're talking about like Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi, those generally don't transfer to these partners. I think the best you can do for a one world partner might be like Cathay's Asia Miles or one of the Avios programs, which don't have as favorable redemption rates as American and Alaska.
Yeah. It's the rates on Alaska. It is a shame because they used to be really good. If you remember about not like a year-ish ago, the Alaska award chart was actually ridiculous. Where I would never shut up about like Cathay redemption price, for example, where it was 50,000 miles to go from the US to Asia, like to Hong Kong specifically in business class. And that was insane. I remember before they did the devaluation, I actually ended up booking 2 seats on Qantas first class from LAX to Sydney for 70,000 miles each, which is an absolutely like nuts redemption. I mean, even now the redemption's like way, way, way more. So yeah, but even still the miles are like really strong.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so we're going to get into some cards you can get to get these bonuses. One thing to keep in mind that unlike a lot of the cards we like to talk about on this podcast, many of these are not keeper cards, meaning they don't directly give you an easy to use, tangible, recurring annual benefit that helps justify the annual fee. I think my strategy for a lot of these cards is to simply get them for the sign up bonus and then dump them the second year when that annual fee posts. Sean, do you agree with that?
Totally agree. I think that's a shame of a lot of airline cards. This is not like unique to these programs or anything. There are some of the cards in this list that you could justify multiple years, but the most of them you're probably just going to want to get the bonus and cancel after the first year.
Yeah. So let's start with Alaska miles and how you can get them. Now, before we dive into the Alaska cards themselves, I think it's worth noting the recent Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines merger. And for a limited time, those points can easily transfer 1-to-1 between the two programs. So one Hawaiian mile can become one Alaska mile, and one Alaska mile can become one Hawaiian mile. This is actually pretty awesome for us during this limited period of time because it expands the number of cars we can get to get Alaska miles. So, for example, Hawaiian Airlines is actually one of the transfer partners for American Express. So during this limited time, you could conceivably transfer American Express points to Hawaiian Airlines. And then on the Hawaiian Airlines and Alaska Airlines website, make that transfer from Hawaiian Airlines all the way to Alaska Airlines. And in effect, that's sort of allowing you through a backdoor to transfer Amex points to Alaska. And do make sure that your information on your Hawaiian and Alaska accounts match up exactly, or else you won't be able to transfer. But otherwise, this is I think a pretty awesome opportunity. Would you agree, Sean?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to have this ability to move this many miles into Alaska. Still, I think what's also really nice about Alaska is that Yes, it's not technically fully free cancellation. It's basically fully free cancellation. You have to pay the partner reward fee when you're doing partner redemptions, which is $12.50. So a $12.50 cancellation fee is more than reasonable by my standards, which I really like about Alaska Miles, is that you can still book things speculatively. And they do have some unique redemptions, such as Starlux, right? Alaska Miles are really the only miles you can redeem for Starlux business class, and that is really nice to be able to do that.
Yes, that Starlux redemption calls to mind. I think last year there was a pretty good opportunity to buy Hawaiian points on sale, and I thought they were pretty cheap. I think it's around 1.2 or 1.3 cents per point range, depending on what you got targeted for. So conceivably, let's say you're flying San Francisco to Taipei on Starlux Airlines. The cash ticket would be for that one way easily more than $3,000, if not 4,000. But if you bought Hawaiian miles on sale for like 1.2, 1.3, it costs only around $1,000 or so to buy the 75,000 Hawaiian miles, which you then transfer to Alaska miles to book the Starlux. So that's a humongous savings, even if you don't get any of these credit cards and you just buy the points on sale. So keep your eye out on those Hawaiian point sales. They can be quite a good deal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's always good to look in strategically buying points. When you compare, the retail price of business class, buying points is like almost always going to be cheaper, assuming the redemption exists.
Yes. So let's talk about the Alaska credit cards. There are two main ones that come to mind. So the personal Bank of America Alaska card and the business Bank of America Alaska cards. I think they typically offer their standard offers around like 40 to 50,000 miles, which is pretty mid. So you want to wait for the limited time elevated offers, which range from 60,000 to 80,000 miles or 75,000 miles in that range. Those are going to be the good times when you want to grab these. Personal Bank of America cards pretty straightforward. Sean, have you applied for that Business Bank of America card? I remember there are some like tricks you need to know to be able to get approved.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So I have had both of the cards. The business one, you really need like so I remember, yeah, for the business one, I was required to put a CD with Bank of America. You can call them and ask about this if you get denied. I believe they still do this, where you offer to put a CD, and basically that means you have like a secured card for the year, and your credit line will be equal to your CD line. Totally a headache. It's like ridiculous, but I put like $1,000 or $1,100 in or something, and it was like, hey, allow me to get approved for the card, right? So the other way I think is
Are
Bank
their
of America.
CD rates trash?
Yes, absolutely trash. Nothing. So like you're losing whatever like high yield you'd be getting. But the other way you could do is if you have a lot of money with Bank of America. When I say a lot of money, I don't mean like hundreds of thousands or something. I mean you probably put like a couple grand in a checking account. This helps a lot. They really value like existing relationships, similar to like US Bank. So I think if you have a lot of money in a checking account, maybe move it in like a month or so prior. That will probably help your chances.
Okay, that's really good to know. In addition, you can also get Alaska miles by opening the Hawaiian cards, getting the bonuses, and then transferring them to Alaska. So the personal Barclays card, Hawaiian card, could be pretty good. I think it's like the $95 or $99 annual fee. Sometimes they'll run the promotions where there's not even a minimum spend. You like make one purchase, pay the annual fee, and you get the bonus, which is really awesome. But other times there is a min spend. Um, Now, apparently, there are actually two Hawaiian personal credit cards. One is issued by Barclays, and the other one is issued by Bank of Hawaii, which also has bonuses in the 60,000 to 70,000 range at times, which is really solid. Sometimes it's no min spend, sometimes there's a min spend. And apparently, you can get both of these cards and get both of their bonuses. It's really funny because most people haven't heard of either of these banks, but you can get both of them. And then, of course, there is a business Hawaiian card with Barclays. So, Sean, do any of these cards interest you, or have you gotten them?
I have not gotten any of the Hawaiian cards. I think the business one might interest me if the bonus right now is not very high, but like when the bonus is higher, it could interest me. It is interesting that you can also get Bank of Hawaii. I wonder, I'm curious what Bank of Hawaii's like approval requirements are, right? Are they less strict than
Yeah,
Barclays? That's the
we don't
question.
really know.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are like that appealing to me. Right? I mean, unless you like fly Hawaiian a lot, none of these cards really have any like keeper perks. It's really just for the bonus. So
Yeah,
for me,
definitely.
it'd be like, what's the highest bonus I can get and be approved for? That's kind of the only question I'm like going for.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the 70,000 points that they offered on the personal Barclays was really good when there was no min spend required. And like you could literally buy a pack of gum and then get 70,000 Alaska miles, basically, which is really awesome. Okay, now let's talk about how to get American miles. So American is interesting because currently they have both Barclays and City cars. My understanding is that they're going to be sunsetting their relationship with Barclays sometime later this year or next year. So you might want to jump on the Barclays cars while they're still available. So the Barclays personal AA card is very interesting because oftentimes the bonus is no minimum spend required. So again, one purchase, pack of gum, whatever, you get your 60,000 to 70,000 miles, depending on what the bonus is, which is often enough for a business class seat to Japan, or if you have 10 or 20,000 more miles to get to first class as well. So don't ignore these no min spend bonuses because they can actually be crazy good. I don't even know why they offer them because it doesn't seem profitable. Also, the city has personal AA cars, so $95 card, and they also have a higher tier card that's more like a coupon book, which I don't think is worth keeping around long term unless you're actually flying AA because it's sort of annoying to manage. But arguably, you could get both of them just for the bonus and then get rid of them afterward. And then yeah, so between the Barclays and City cards, Sean, which one do you recommend people look into?
I mean, I would probably say go for, I mean, the Barclays card, of course, if you can get it without spending requirement, that is amazing. With that said, I think the City card, I know like the lower tier one usually will have a higher bonus than the Barclays card. And then I think, of these cards, arguably the only one that potentially might make sense long term is probably the high tier AA card, mainly because if you're flying out of airports where you have like an Admirals Club, you get Admirals Club access, of course. You can add 3 authorized users for a total of 170. So if you split that 4 ways, if you're all just paying for Admirals Club access and you view it that way, the membership really isn't that bad, right? You're paying like $300, like under $300 for a membership to Admirals Club. That's probably
Yeah,
worth it if you fly enough, but it just kind of depends on your situation.
definitely. I think, yeah, keep in mind that Barclays card is going away soon, so you might want to jump on that. But also note that I think the City personal card, for some reason, the City personal AA card is kind of hard to get approved for compared to the Barclays one. Sometimes they'll just deny you on some arbitrary reason that can't be overturned. So keep that in mind. Um, and then there's also a City Business AA card. This one's interesting. It's great because obviously it doesn't count toward 524 because it doesn't report to your credit report. But it's also easier to get approved for than the City personal
Yes.
card for some reason from both of our experience. So, and yeah, you'll want to wait for the bonus to be like 70,000, 75,000 miles, usually pretty good. But I think their standard offer of 65,000 miles is not bad either. But you want to be very careful with the City Business AA card because recently one of my family members ran into a huge issue with it. For some reason, nobody really talks about this, but it's actually a huge problem. So when you earn the miles on your City Business AA card, you want to check if those are funneling into your personal AA account or your business AA account. Not the business side from the bank, but like the business reward loyalty program, American Airlines. If those miles are going to your business account, you'll want to transfer those miles out to your personal account as soon as possible. Because basically, to keep that business account active, you'll need to meet one of these requirements. So either have the business card open or I think it's really difficult because you need 5 employees with activity in the last 24 months or something, plus $5,000 in AA revenue spend to keep your account active. And if your account is not active, your miles are sort of locked in the account and can't be transferred out and they expire in 24 months. So recently, my family member made a mistake of earning the miles, keeping them in this business account. And then that 1 year passed and the business card's annual fee posted. They canceled the card, which made them no longer eligible to have that active business account. So their 80,000 AA miles are literally stuck in that business account. You can't transfer them out. I think the only way to revive them is like to have the 5 employees and $5,000 in AA revenue, which is totally ridiculous. So like literally, and those miles expire in 24 months, so we have to rescue them somehow. So either we need to figure out a way to do that, or we have to like reopen the business card without being eligible for the bonus or something. So yeah, Sean, were you aware of this whole issue?
I knew there was like that weird thing because I have the AA business card where you do have to do that weird transfer thing. I didn't realize you could like have a huge issue and have the account locked though, and like have the miles stuck in there. I did not know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the benefits of the business account is you can add in like other employees that are your family members, transfer to them instead. So I appreciate that flexibility, but it's actually a huge headache if you accidentally close the business card before you've transferred all your miles out. Then you will lose like your eligibility, and like it's very hard to meet the eligibility requirements without the card, in my opinion, unless you actually run a big business. So keep that in mind. And then okay, and the one last way you can earn American miles that might be worth considering is through their shopping portal. I think this is mostly only worth considering if you're actually gunning for their loyalty points because you do earn loyalty points, which give you status when you shop through American. But otherwise, it's probably easier to amass large numbers of points with these bonuses.
Yeah, totally agree. I think those probably going to be a few cases when like the loyalty points through the shopping portal could be really interesting if you find something you had to buy anyways. I think like I saw someone posting on like a Reddit where they bought like an LG TV or something, but then basically they were able to get it to post like 10x AA miles on it, and so they earned like I mean, you know, and they were spending like a ridiculous sum on a TV. I think it was like 8 grand or something because it was like some 100-inch like OLED, really really nice TV. And it's like, okay, if you're going to buy something really expensive anyways, and you're able to get like that on it, that is ridiculous because you're earning the loyalty points as well. Like you could get your way to status pretty easily on that. But yeah, other than that, probably focusing on the credit card bonuses is usually the best.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, please give this a like and subscribe to our channel. It greatly helps us. If you're interested in any credit card, please consider using one of the links down in the description below. It greatly helps support the channel as well. And Sean, why don't you plug our Discord?
If you want to connect with an elite group of award travelers and credit card enthusiasts entirely for free, check out the Traveling Discord group at the link in the description. You will learn a ton, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.